Kelly collected data on the age and the height of female students aged between 12 and 17. This is kind of a diagram there between 12 and 17. She constructed this scatter plot here, as you can see, and there's a line of best fit. As you can see, there's the line of best fit. Now, why do we have a line of best fit? Well, that line of best fit best represents all these scatter points. All these points, all these data points seem to show a positive correlation. There seems to be strong to moderate correlation. Remember, correlation is the strength of the measure of a linear relationship. So that linear relationship is best represented by that line of best fit because it helps us make estimates and predictions. Now, again, the vertical scale here is height in centimeters and the horizontal is age in years. Now, we're going to do two things. First, we're going to work out the gradient, the slope right over here. We know it's going to be positive because as the height of the girls increase, so does the age increase. So the older you get, the taller you get. So both increase proportionally. So we have a positive gradient going out that way. So we're going to get two things again. Number one, the gradient, and number two, we're going to work out the equation for that line of best fit. Let's begin off with the gradient. Now we're going to use this formula here. Many of you have seen that before. M equals y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. And the equation for that line of best fit, we're going to use this one here. Y equals mx plus b, b being the y-intercept, meaning where it cuts through right over here. Now we can't exactly read it off here as 130 because that's 11 underneath for age. It's not 0. It has to be 0 to get the y-intercept. So we're going to pretend that this is y and that's x, and then later we're going to transpose it into h for height and a for age. To make it easy, we're going to work with these variables x and y. Let's do step number one, which is to find the gradient. Now, the gradient m is right over here, so we need to pick 2 points. So let's pick 2 points on that line of best fit. So the points I'm going to pick would be right here, 11 for the x and 130 for the y. So 11 and 130. And let's pick another point. I'm going to pick that one there because it's on the actual line, but you can pick one anywhere as long as you try and get whole numbers. That kind of works out better than getting fractions. So right here, this point on the x, we have 16. And that goes up and across to 170. Okay, let's mark them up as x1, y1, x1, y1, x2, y2. Then drag and drop them into that formula for the gradient right over there. So let's go ahead and do that. So m equals y2 minus y1. So it's 170 minus 130. All over on the bottom, x2 minus x1. So that's going to be 16, which is x2, minus x1, which is 11. So the gradient m equals 170 minus 130. That's going to give us a value of 40. 16 minus 11, that's 5. That's going to be easy. 40 divided by 5, that's going to give us a value of 8. So our gradient m equals 8. Now, some of you may decide that you want to do this quicker, and you're just going to read it straight off the graph. You can do that. You don't have to work it out here because you can see the rise over the run. So what we got here for the rise is we know it's going up. Let's start at 130, go across. So starting from there, it goes from 130 to 170. So it goes up 40. And across here from 11 to 16, 11 from 16 is going to give us 5. 5 into 40. That's going to give us 8. That's another way to do it, just reading it off the graph. But I like this method because it's easier to work it out here. There's less likelihood to make an error. So there's our gradient, m equals 8. Now let's work out the actual equation. So we're going to use this right over here, y equals mx plus b. So let me just put a little border here so we've got a little bit of space. Okay, y equals mx plus b. Okay, b being the y-intercept. Now, is this the y-intercept right there, 130? Can we use 130 there? No, we can't. And why is that? We can't do it because that's 11 underneath and not 0. You've got to have a 0 there for that to happen. So since it's 11 years old, for 130, we can't use it. That's not b. It's not 130. So we need to work that out. How do we work it out? Well, very easy. We just pick one of these points that are on the line of best fit and then sub them into here, one of these points, and then we find the unknown, which is B. We're going to try and find what B is. Okay, so let's pick a point. So the point I would like to work with would be, I would pick 16, 170. Let's pick this one. You can pick either one, 16, 130. So let's take these guys and put it in here. So let's go ahead and do that. So what's our y? 170. So 170 equals m, which is our gradient of 8. And our x value, what's our x value? 16. Plus our unknown y-intercept, which is b. Let's further work this out. 170 equals 8 times 16. Multiplying that on the calculator, that's 128 plus b. Okay, subtract 128 from both sides. Why do we do that? So we can make b home alone by itself. We want to drag that over this side. So b equals 170 minus 128. That's going to give us a value of 42. So b equals 42. Okay, we got our y-intercept. There's our two values. Now all we have to do is use these two guys, drag and drop them into here so we can work out the full equation for this line of fit right there. So let's put it into this formula here, y equals mx plus b. So y equals m gradient, which is 8, 8x plus 42. There's our y-intercept, there's our gradient. Now, we can't leave it like this because the variables are different. We got, instead of y, we have h. Instead of x, we have a. So let's replace h and a for y and x. So that y replaces with h. So that means we have h equals 8x. Now what's x again? That's age. 8a plus 42. Okay, so the equation for the line of fit, of best fit, that goes up there, is h, the height, equals 8a plus 42. Now, a really quick note here is, what does this actually mean, this line of best fit? It means that the centimeters that a girl grows per year. Centimeters grown per year. That's basically what that means. And the equation of that line is h equals 8a plus 42. There you go. Hope that helps.